Imagine this for a moment. The world's most powerful economies, the largest militaries, the most advanced warships ever built. All of them depend on a single stretch of water, just 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. That waterway is the Strait of Hormuz. And if it closes, this won't be just another Middle East headline. It could shake the entire global system to its core. But here's the question most media won't ask. Why would Iran, a country at the center of this vital passage, even consider blocking it? To understand that, we need to look beyond the headlines and hear the story from Iran's side. Every single day, nearly 20% of the world's oil, along with about a third of its liquefied natural gas, passes through the Strait of Hormuz. Oil from Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, the UAE, and Qatar, flowing through one narrow choke point. And geographically, this choke point sits right beside Iran's extensive coastline. Iran doesn't need aircraft carriers here. It doesn't need a global network of military bases to exert influence. It already has the ultimate home field advantage. We're talking about coastal missile systems that can target any vessel in the strait. A powerful naval force equipped with speedboats and submarines designed for this specific environment. And advanced surveillance capabilities that monitor every ship that passes. They have complete geographic control. So let's be clear about one thing. Iran is not incapable of disrupting this traffic. It has always had the ability. The real question isn't whether it can, but why it hasn't. To find the answer, we have to look back at the past few decades. For years, Iran has lived under a state of intense economic warfare. Wave after wave of sanctions have targeted its most vital sectors. Sanctions on its oil exports, which are the lifeblood of its economy. Sanctions on its central bank, cutting it off from the global financial system. Sanctions on shipping, insurance, and international trade. Iran was effectively disconnected from the world economy, and its main source of revenue was deliberately blocked by powers who, at the same time, spoke loudly about free markets and freedom of navigation. From Iran's perspective, the contradiction is glaring. If Iran is not allowed to sell its own oil on the global market, then how can other nations expect to move their oil freely and securely right through Iran's backyard? This isn't just about aggression, it's about leverage. It's a strategic response to what Tehran perceives as an existential economic threat. Western media often frames the story in a very specific way. Iran threatens global energy security. It's a simple, alarming narrative. But this narrative rarely includes the context. It seldom mentions who initiated the pressure, who unilaterally withdrew from international agreements like the JCPOA, or who turned economic sanctions into a weapon of statecraft. Iran's message, when you listen closely, has been remarkably consistent over the years. Security must be mutual. Rights cannot be one-sided. If our ships are safe, your ships are safe. If we can sell our oil, you can move your oil. It's a principle of reciprocity. Now, Iran does not want chaos in global markets. It knows very well that blocking the Strait of Hormuz would have catastrophic consequences, not just for the West, but for everyone. It would devastate its key trading partners in Asia, like China and India, who are major importers of Gulf oil. It would disrupt its own trade and cripple the economies of its neighbors. It would be a self-inflicted wound. But Iran also knows something else. When a country feels cornered, when its diplomatic efforts are ignored, and when its very economic survival is threatened, deterrence becomes the only language left that everyone understands. The threat to close the strait is a powerful card to hold, even if it's never played. Let us just imagine the immediate consequences if the Strait of Hormuz were disrupted for even a few days. Oil prices would skyrocket, likely surging past $150 a barrel, maybe even higher. Global stock markets would enter a freefall, driven by panic and uncertainty. Europe, already grappling with energy challenges, would face immediate and severe shortages. And the manufacturing powerhouses of Asia would grind to a halt as their energy supply chains are severed. This isn't just speculation. This is basic economics. The global economy runs on energy, and this is its most critical artery. And that is precisely why Iran hasn't pushed the button. Because the immense power of controlling the Strait of Hormuz is not in actually closing it, but in the world knowing that it can be closed at any moment. It is the ultimate deterrent. Iran's position isn't reckless, it's highly calculated. It's a message to the world that says, if our economy is strangled, if our exports are blocked, if diplomacy is replaced with relentless pressure and threats, then stability for everyone else cannot be guaranteed. This isn't a declaration of war. It is a warning of shared consequences. It's a reminder that global security is interconnected. The Strait of Hormuz is not a Western-controlled highway. It is a regional lifeline, and its security depends on the stability of the entire region. And Iran is a major regional power, whether other countries like it or not. You cannot simply isolate a nation of over 80 million people, surround it with military bases, cripple its economy, and then expect it to remain silent and passive forever. History has shown us time and again that this approach doesn't work. So the real question isn't, will Iran block the Strait of Hormuz? The far more important question is this: will the world, particularly the West, continue to pursue policies that push Iran closer and closer toward that edge? Because once deterrence fails and turns into action, there is no easy reset button. The fallout would be global, and the path back to stability would be long and painful. Today, the Strait of Hormuz is more than just a waterway. It is a powerful symbol. It's a symbol of geopolitical power, a symbol of resistance against overwhelming pressure, and a stark reminder that true, lasting global stability depends on fairness, mutual respect, and diplomacy, not just force. Thanks for watching. If you found this perspective interesting, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.